Hello and welcome to part 2 of our reaction to the first rehearsal photos for 2025. Again, this is a very impromptu episode where there is no script. I am giving my raw thoughts on all 16 photos from semifinal 2. You can also watch part 1 on YouTube or Spotify. That's right, I turned this into a video, and this episode will also be a video, so you can follow along with all of the images as I go along. So join me as I react to the second semi-final rehearsal photos of this year's Eurovision Song Contest. This is ESC 101. So yes, as I said, my reactions are going to be unscripted. I will be saying some harsh things about the fashion. If you've listened or watched part 1, then you're going to know that there's going to be some opinions. And just a reminder that when I'm talking about an outfit or I'm talking about a staging design, I am not talking about the artist personally or professionally. Each of these artists are professional musicians who know what they're doing. And when I say that someone looks ugly, I am not talking about the person, I'm talking about the outfit or the staging, because there will be outfits that I will be critiquing that are ugly. So yeah, none of it is supposed to be an attack on the artist. I don't mean it to be an attack on the artist, just the clothing. The first country that we're taking a look at is Australia with Gojo, and of course, the Milkshake Man. Yeah, the very first image that we're looking at is Gojo without a shirt, and I know that this is not how the song is going to start out because there is a costume reveal in the performance somewhere. The first picture is of him not wearing a shirt. He's wearing some kind of like ascot scarf around his neck, almost like Fred from Scooby-Doo, but instead of the white ascot, it's a red ascot. And then he's wearing a very bright blue turquoise pant thing. I think it's just regular pants. I can't really tell. And there's some kind of gray silver belt with beads around the buckle portion. I imagine that's going to sparkle in some of the camera angles. He's holding a microphone in one hand and kind of just rocking out on stage in the other. In the background, there is milk flying everywhere, and there appears to be a picture of a blender, although we will find out in the second image. Not in the second image, in the third image, but we'll get to the second image right now, which is having more clothes. Thank goodness there's a little bit more clothing in the beginning of the song, at least. Yeah, we get more clues for the pants. The pants are very retro, but in a very strange way. It almost looks like, I don't know how to describe it. It almost looks not silky, kind of curtainy material. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a better clue once we're closer up on the camera. But yeah, they're not jeans. I don't know what to describe it. There's a giant star on one of the pant legs, wearing sort of these platform heel shoes with striped socks. I think that's fantastic. I kind of wish that the Milkshake Man would have started out as like a milk delivery person from like the 1950s and then have that costume ripped off during like the first chorus, and then during another part of the song you could take off the upper vest that he's wearing in the second picture, which matches the fabric of the pants. Second image also contains 2 backing performers, dancers, wearing very short length dresses. One of them's in sort of the candy stripe style like you would see in the 50s and 60s. The other one's a polka dot dress, which I absolutely love. Third image, we've revealed a milkshake blender. Hooray! I know that some people were wanting a milkshake van, but I am really pleased about having a blender on stage. I hope that there's going to be some kind of I don't know, some kind of weird camera effect or something that will make it look like the blender is actually blending something on stage. I can't really tell by the image. It almost looks like it's filled with water, but I don't think it can be filled with water because that would be very heavy to wheel around. But yeah, this is the sort of thing that we need. It reminds me of Slovenia in 2022. LPS had the disco ball, but the disco ball was on like a rolling thing because you can't have a disco ball on stage just as is, otherwise it'll roll away. But the blender is flat on the bottom, so that's very helpful. I don't know, there should be maybe a handle on the left or the right just to make it look like there's an actual like blender instead of a giant cup, although maybe it's supposed to be a giant cup. But yeah, the camera angles are going to make this look really good, and I'm very excited for Australia. The fact that they're actually taking the staging to a proper level and the LEDs can have a proper level, and I'm sure the camera is going to do its best to frame that as best as possible. So I'm very much looking forward to Australia. The outfit, yeah, it's choice. I don't know how relevant it is to have a shirtless Gojo, but considering this is supposed to be a confident song and a risque song at that, I think it'll be a good choice, and I think Gojo will carry it on regardless. Yeah, there's not much fashion when half the body's not being covered by anything, so can't really say much about the fashion, but yeah, I think this will be good. I think I'm looking forward to Australia's entry, and I'm hoping to see that the staging will come together with the camera angles. Next up is Montenegro, and we have Nina Zizic with some kind of large white dress with a very white sort of background, reminding me of Vladana, Montenegro's representative from 2022 in The Wheel. Although this time it's not sticking out, it's actually part of the dress, and it looks like Nina is like blooming from a beautiful like white flower. She is the center of the flower, and she will be having this sort of dramatic moment. Second image, she's wearing a blindfold and almost reminds me of Constracta a little bit with like the hairstyle and the red lipstick. Constracta, who represented Serbia in 2022 with her perfection of a song. Lots of fog in the back, in the stage floor, sort of sparkly wall in the back, almost like stars, but it's more kind of like dust. Third, again, kind of, I don't know. It seems a bit strange that she looks bewildered. I mean, maybe it's part of the stage act. I don't know. Again, Montenegro is going to have to make this intimate in order for it to work, because it is a gorgeous song, and the dress is something. I do wish, though, that there would be a pop of color outside of the lipstick. I mean, maybe the lipstick will serve as a good pop of color, but I wish the dress had some kind of like strange, like, I don't know, maybe like a blood red element to say like, oh, this person's like bleeding for freedom, bleeding to welcome people in. I don't know. I just wish there was some kind of like extra pop of color or something just to kind of make it more three-dimensional. I mean, looking at the picture now, everything looks kind of flat. It almost looks like she's laying in a floating pillow. This is an interesting choice. Not a terrible choice. Almost angelic in a way, maybe. But yeah, could use a few improvements, but definitely not the worst outfit of the lineup. Third is Ireland, and finally Ireland have learned their lesson on how to stage and dress themselves. I mean, they kind of learned that lesson last year with Bambi Thug. Bambi Thug was absolute perfection. But they've carried on the lesson this year in 2025 where Emmy looks like a rocket, kind of. I mean, not in a literal way. The dress that she is wearing is very cone-shaped to remind me of like a rocket's exhaust thing. I don't know what that's called. Emmy looks space age, like fabulous, like straight out of the 60s, which is like the height of the space race. And it's so appropriate. I mean, Ireland's staging actually looks good, which is, to be honest, over the past few years, it's been kind of hit or miss. But yeah, this is just fantastic. I mean, really hitting the nail on the head. I mean, the second image, we see Emmy in a much clearer light. We can actually see the details of the dress, and it looks like almost like an homage to an astronaut. There's like a little bit of a helmet thing that is hanging off the back. I'm hoping that would detach at some point, because we don't need to keep that on her. I'm not sure if that's part of the stage LED wall, in which case, wow, that's actually really clear, but I think it's part of the costume. I love the sort of like space age 60s thing. Like, this is something you would see in like Star Trek. the original series Star Trek, where there's like really metallic, just really angular. Absolutely love it. I still don't get the relevance of the backing keyboard player. I mean, I think he's a family member, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I guess there's going to be some kind of relevance with the camera and stuff. He's wearing a very Silvertone jacket with lots of stars all around. Definitely camp. Definitely a sort of outlandish sort of emphasis on stars. I don't hate it. I feel like this is taking Gabri Ponte's jacket from the last episode and actually making it work. Again, it would fit perfectly with this sort of setup. And then the third image, yay, we have a constellation of Laika. Oh, this is so adorable. And then we got 4 backing dancers with their fists in the air, along with the keyboard player and the fists in the air. And Emmy's fist isn't actually in there. Everybody's fist is in the air. And this is going to be fantastic. I think having the dog, and I'm assuming Constellation is going to move. The dog is going to be kind of dancing, I'm going to assume. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. I love the purple coloring. I love the contrast of the purple and the silver. I think that works beautifully. And I'm just hoping the camera angles bring this well together, because I think Ireland can qualify with the staging. I think looking at this, I was concerned about Ireland's staging because in the past they've staged their entries kind of questionably, especially with some of the fashion. But this year, I think Ireland could qualify with this. I think this is a very well put together entry. I'm loving what Emmy's wearing. And yeah, I think this will do well. Fourth is Latvia. And if you've listened to my reactions, you know that I'm not a fan of Latvia's song, but I am a fan of this fashion. I mean, this is the 6-piece band, girl group, and they're wearing, I don't know how to describe it. There's these like white outfits with sort of these lines that are supposed to resemble hair, I'm assuming, that goes all along the dress. And they're all wearing like these crowns of almost smoke or wisps of mist or something. Like they're supposed to be like fantasy creatures from like the deeps of the depths of the sea. And I really like this. This is very high avant-garde art. I really like the styling. They look mythological in a very beautiful way, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised by this. Because again, the song, not a fan because it doesn't go anywhere, but this staging and the styling works beautifully. There's these sort of like stringed curtains that are behind them, and you can really see it in the second photo where one of them is emerging from the curtains. And I really wish this would be an actual camera angle in this show, because it looks like she's emerging from like the depths of the sea to like pull you in. And I think this is a very high-end moment. And I mean, again, I don't know what the camera is going to be doing with this. I don't know. It looks really cool, very artistic. I really like this. And I'm liking this more than I thought I would. This is actually the biggest surprise for me, I think, so far. Next up is Armenia, and yeah, okay. Upper end is the black tank top, similar to Cyprus. Bottom pants, I don't like the fact that it's that material, because it doesn't go with the tank top. The tank top's very plain. I feel like the pants should kind of match that aesthetic. I feel like this should be like Kyle Alessandro's pants. Norway, take these pants. Give him your construction bell-bottom pant things. That would at least kind of look interesting in Armenia. Yeah, not much to tell. I mean, there's just kind of basic lighting. There's not much, especially even in the second picture, is literally just a bunch of spotlights with him just kind of looking up, kind of as if he's charging his power, his energy. Third one, he's in the air. He's going to be like, I'm a survivor. Stay aliver. That's still not a word in the English language. Yeah, and these pants are crimpled in the third picture, and I just, no, I don't like these pants. Yeah, I'm hoping the camera is going to do something interesting, because I don't see very much for Armenia staging. And I mean, granted, these pictures might not want to reveal very much. They might be hiding stuff on purpose, but judging by the pictures alone, there's not much happening, and I don't see Armenia qualifying with this particular staging and costume setup. Next is Austria, and I believe Austria's entry is supposed to be entirely in black and white, which I I don't like that. I have part of it in black and white, but then emerge it into color, like, I don't know, during one of the operatic moments, or go back and forth. Having it entirely in black and white, I'm like, this is not 1967. All right. Granted, this is a Eurovision history podcast. I love the historic contest of black and white footage. Some of it I enjoy. But this is 2025. And again, wasted love, more like wasted opportunity. And then there's this, the first thing looks like a sailboat. Are you sailing on the sea of wasted love? I think there was mentions of lyrics about an ocean, so I think the sailboat's going to be talking about that. Second image again, I see sort of giant waves. Okay, so maybe it looks like it's supposed to be like a nautical or a sea themed thing. So I'm zooming in, and there's a pile of books. He's literally standing on a pile of books behind him for one of his legs. I think it's his left leg. So yeah, there's a pile of books. I'm hoping that none of those books are real, because that would just make me sad standing on historic books like that. There's a trunk, as if he's going on to like a cruise. This is like 100 years ago, and he's like, I'm taking a transatlantic cruise to find myself. Ugh. There appears to be like almost cannon things. There's like a chain rope thing that's, I'm assuming, holding the sails. There's going to be a wind machine because I see the cape kind of flying in the back. Yeah, the outfit, I don't get the relevance, question mark. I don't know. I'm not reacting well to Austria's song, or I don't know. I'm really anti-Austria, which is sad because Austria from like 2022 to 2024 was absolute perfection, except live for a few of those, but the studio tracks are perfection. This is just like, it's putting the drama up to 11 when it needs to be like a 9. Like, it's just too, like, there's too much of too much. Like, you want a dramatic song, but you need it to be sort of an appropriate level, and this is just like, it screams of desperation. I don't know why. Third image, there's an image of a lighthouse. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a nautical theme to this, which I feel like this should be Vibes staging from Iceland, to have like a lighthouse and a sailing ship. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm just completely out of touch. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I should just silence myself, because I don't get why Austria is hyped to win. I really don't. This is just like, I don't get, the song is too dramatic. The staging is too dramatic. There's just too much drama. I mean, maybe from last year, there was just so much drama that I'm dramaed out, and just, I don't get it. I'm going to move on, because otherwise I'm just going to be confused even more. Next up is Greece. And Greece, I love your song. I like the dress. I cannot stand the dress color. Stereotypically, Greece is known for its white and blue buildings. This dress needs to be white. This dress needs to stand out. She needs to be like an angel, sort of like calling forth the starry-eyed spirits to bless the Eurovision stage. Another sort of interesting choice is that Clavia is standing on a rock. Again, we've seen that last year, which was done to perfection. This, if there's perfect camera angles, then maybe it'll do great. But yeah, I don't like the dark dress on the dark rock, because it makes it look like the rock is part of the dress when it's clearly not. I don't want it to be like a stereotypical white toga, but at the same time, I want it to be a stereotypical white toga because it would look better. Yeah, I think Clavia is gorgeous in the dress itself. Like, I like the concept of the dress. I like sort of the heavier material, and I like sort of the way that she's styled. But you gotta make the dress white because it's blending in with the rock. I mean, there's also the red background, which is helping to make the black pop. In the second picture, yeah, so there's sort of these white lights that are sort of like making it almost look heavenly. But again, the rock is blending in with the dress, and you need to have it sort of contrasting, like maybe even like a light gray. But yeah, I'm just not really thrilled with that. Third image looks a bit clearer. It almost reminds me of like, I don't know, like some kind of like meditation robe thing, like a really nice thick robe, but like in a way that's not like a bath robe or something, but like it's a meditation robe for like not necessarily like karate, but just something that's like almost like spiritual monk. And I'm kind of getting that vibe. So I like the style of the dress. I just wish it was a different color. But I don't know, maybe it'll appear better. I mean, the third image, The Rock definitely looks more brown than black. So maybe on camera it'll translate better. The red staging is an interesting choice. It almost looks like fire and brimstone. So I'm curious where that will go on camera. Next up is Lithuania, and of course we get nothing. Yeah, there's literally nothing in this picture except for a black silhouette of one of the singers and just utter darkness. There's literally nothing to react to. Second one, again, we have more water. I think that's water. And the band members in their really awful prison uniforms. I mean, they literally look like they've come from prison with these like sort of like blue-gray sort of sweat pant combination. They're wearing these sort of like glove things with the fingers exposed. They look like a bunch of ne'er-do-wells from the 90s. There's a reason why Lithuania is on the bottom of my scoreboard this year, because it's out of date. If this was, again, the 90s, the grunge crowd, this would get points. But yeah, third picture, just a bunch of lights and a bunch of stuff. I mean, there really is nothing. And I think because there is nothing here, I'm sorry for people who like Lithuania. I just cannot stand their entry this year. This is just dull for me, and I don't have anything else to say other than just meh. Next up is Malta, and yes, we have been saved from the grunge, and this time we have the diva, yes, wearing leopard print. That is a very Mirjana thing to wear. I personally don't like the leopard. That is a personal preference. For Malta, I don't know. I'm going to move on from the pants because I'm just going to be fixated on that for 20 billion years. Instead, we're looking at the corset that she's wearing, which is very form-fitting, kind of sort of in the similar pattern, but there's sort of these like black lines to like represent sort of a lace and a bodice. If that continued into the pants, maybe the shoes, they kind of match the leopard pant and look very plastic and cheap looking. I don't know. Maybe there was another material choice, but I feel like some of this is cheap looking. Like, I don't know. There's like these weird string things from her arm that look like hair, and she's on the bouncing ball. I know some people didn't like the bouncing ball. I love it. That's the best part. Mirjana looks great. Let me just stress that Mirjana Conte is serving absolute beauty, absolute perfection. I just don't like the pattern on the outfit. The outfit itself is fine. I mean, maybe the pants could use with a different tone of material on the side. But yeah, Mirjana looks great. Second image, a giant pair of lips with a disco ball in the center. Question mark about the disco ball. I love the lips. I absolutely love the lips. That is just kind of like, we are serving singing. Maybe it's like the disco ball is supposed to represent like a microphone ball where it's like you're singing into a microphone. I kind of wish this thing would have a microphone. The backing LEDs are just like waving legs. Don't like that at all. I wish it was music notes. I wish it was like sheet music and you have like music notes and have like the music notes look kind of divified. I don't know how you want to do that, but yeah, I don't like having the legs on a background. And then you have some backing dancers doing sort of like leg choreography. They kind of look fabulous. Looking at the second image with Mirjana, you don't notice the leopard spots when it's far away. So it kind of looks more like sparkles. So I'm hoping that the camera will make it look kind of more sparkly rather than leopardy. She's wearing the thong that she's been giving out to various fan media and other artists, which is an interesting choice again. It's supposed to be a provocative song. It almost looks like she has red hair in the second image. And kind of in the first. Is she having red hair? Is she copying Red Sebastian? Or is that just the lighting really making her hair red? Again, I don't hate the shade of red on her hair. It kind of looks interesting, but it's copying Red Sebastian, and I'm kind of a little concerned about that. Third image, Diva Not Down. Yes, this is absolute perfection. There's some smoke in there. There's going to be serving a lot of different things, and I'm hoping the audience is going to be shouting the banned Maltese word for singing, because we absolutely need that in this performance. I love what Mirjana's doing. I think it's going to be a fantastic performance, judging by these pictures. I just personally wish that the leopard print would be something else, but again, that's kind of me nitpicking a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Next up is Georgia, and oh my goodness. I mean, it's serving priestess. Yeah, no. And I'm glad, again, a little bit of a spoiler, but this will be removed eventually to reveal something else. Yeah, you're wearing silver on silver. No. This is too much. Too much material. You need to just remove like 90% of the material. This is ridiculous. I mean, you look like a priestess, but like not in a good way. It's just it's there. Second image, there's going to be backing dancers doing like ninja ballet, which I don't know. And then the third image reveals an outfit that's even more weird. Sort of pinstriped tank top with tan and sort of red sparkly things. And then red sparkled pants, which, again, that's a choice. I don't really get the relevance to the song. I mean, maybe the Georgian colors, but just... I don't like what she's wearing. It's not like burn it to the ground, absolutely hideous, but just like this has like no relevance to what the song is supposed to be about, which is like freedom. And then the backing dancer's wearing this like weird robe thing. Just, I don't get what Georgia's trying to do. I don't get the staging concept. It is not telling the story of the song, and I'm just moving on. Next up is Denmark, and this is an interesting choice. So there's a lot of like sort of fluffy frilly bits, almost reminding me of Nemo's outfit from last year, where there's a lot of like frilly bits. But this is all like whites and blues. And I'm hoping that there's going to be camera effects, because there needs to be hallucinations in a song called Hallucination. There's like curtains on either side or paneling of some kind, which should hopefully again turn into hallucinations in the camera. Second image, there's a costume reveal where the frilly weird thing is revealed away to be sort of like a tight bodice that reminds me of almost like a figure skater's outfit, where it's like this tight sort of like solid color with a little bit of like sparkle in the center. More curtains, backing performers that just kind of look like stage hands. And then the third outfit is just more sort of like hand choreography with sort of these little panel things going all around. You know, she's probably singing Hallucination. The camera's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting because it's blue on blue. Again, people, no single colors. It just does not work. Camera's going to have to do the heavy lifting here. I'm hoping that that's going to come through, because otherwise Denmark, I don't get the concept of the blue on the blue on the blue. If you're wanting to do hallucinations, there should be like psychedelic colors. There should be like sort of wavy things. There should be like hallucinations. Because yeah, I'm judging by what I'm seeing in the pictures, there's not a whole lot going on. So yeah, I'm sure the camera's going to do the heavy lifting in the song, because otherwise, ooh. Next up is Czechia, and what the filtered word is that? This sort of like glove thing where the small stripe of fabric goes around Adonis's neck. Yeah, kiss goodbye to good fashion, because that glove thing just needs to go. Like, stick with the plain white tank top. Seriously, stick with the tank top. You'd be perfectly fine in that. Instead, we have this like thing going on. I mean, he's holding some kind of, maybe not holding, but it's like attached some kind of like flower spider thing. That needs to go. Pants are inoffensive. They're just kind of there. White belt, again, you need to have a contrast, and the flower spider thing is not a contrast. Like white tank top, maybe like gray pants. I'm not a fan of the look. Second picture, again, a little bit of a Vitruvian man again. Where have I seen this before? One of the backing dancers is holding the microphone for Adonis. That's cute. While these two other sort of backing performers are just kind of like holding him back or something. I get this is supposed to be like a very like expressive song, but again, white on white. Stop that. No. Third image, we have finally an actual like design that should stay for the entire thing, which is a cape where it is black on the very top up to the sort of upper shoulder area, and then the rest is flowing down white. I kind of like that design. If that design stayed for the entire show, then I would be fine with it. And the fabric that is part of that hideous glove thing going across his top chest, I like that part when it's combined with this cape. But going from that to what's going to be revealed is just a big no from me. The costume needs a bit of rework, and there needs to be a splash of color somewhere that isn't black or white, because this is just, yeah, you're saying kiss, kiss goodbye to any semblance of, I'm not going to say the quality, because I'm sure the quality in the staging is going to be good once it's all seen together, but just, yeah, I'm kiss, kiss goodbying to this entry and moving on. Next up is Luxembourg. Yes, we have arrived at the picture-perfect fashion of Laura Thorne, where she looks like she has this absolutely, like, beautiful Victorian doll lace, like, outfit ensemble. She looks like a doll. Of course, she looks like this poised, perfect porcelain doll. And at the beginning of the song, she's going to be like, yes, you want me to do these things, but then that's not gonna happen. Yeah, this is the outfit from the Luxembourg Song Contest brought up to 10, maybe even 11. And then in this case, 11 is good because she just looks gorgeous. I mean, is this the best dress that I've seen so far? Definite contender for that. I think this is an absolutely fabulous outfit. The gray boots are definitely a choice. I don't know if I'm like fully in love with the boots. I don't know if I want to maybe if I see it in different materials, I might like the silver boots more because the other options might be less wonderful. I'm really liking it. The staging has like a clock in the background, almost, I guess I'm assuming it's going to be like a dollhouse kind of thing, because I'm seeing like different layers, and like there's a ladder. I can see there's like a little like mannequin holding thing. There looks to be like a circular television like it from the 1950s and 60s. What would be, I'm looking at it now. I'm seeing it now. See, this is a very live reaction. I see France Gall. I see France Gall in the television screen. That has to be France Gall. I mean, the picture that you're going to see is extremely blurry and you will not be able to tell, but that looks like France Gall to me. Oh my goodness. If that plays the 1965 Luxembourg entry in the background in a little television screen, or even if it's like an interview of France Gall, oh, that's going to be an Easter egg moment for the century. I absolutely love that. I literally just noticed that now. Second image, we have Laura Thorne lying on the ground, very reflective on the stage. I love the reflection on the stage to make it look like a mirror. That's going to look really good, hopefully on camera, to capture sort of the mimicked movements of some point. I'm sure she's going to be like lifted up and brought up at some point. But yeah, she looks fabulous in that pose. And then the third image, there's a clear reveal where the sort of the bodice has disappeared and she's now this sort of like free 60s looking go-go dancer. She looks like a go-go dancer from the 60s, but in like a great way. Yeah, I am absolutely loving it. She has her three sort of backing corporate overlords that are trying to control her, and she's like, no, you cannot control me. Yeah, no, I'm just excited for the France Gall reference from the first picture. I got really excited now, and I'm just, that's really great. I love that. Next up is Israel, and if I could describe the staging, it would be as if you took Sheldon Riley from Australia 2022, you took his mask and the staircase, and you combine the two. And that's literally what this is. It's literally just a curved staircase with sort of like bejeweled strings running down, and that's the staging. Don't know how that's relevant to A New Day Will Rise, especially when this is supposed to be like an emotional ballad about like overcoming adversity, and yet you're like in like a chandelier from like Monaco. Maybe this is a hint that Monaco will come back in 2026. Then there's this weird like pantsuit thing all in black. Again, I wish there was a color to sort of break up some of the elements, because everything is black, like black hair, black dress, black long sleeves. And then, okay, so the staircase goes away in the second image, so I'm assuming that she will descend the staircase. I love the ruffled, like long sleeve things in this shot specifically, because it looks very, not necessarily regal, but it looks fancy. And then we have a third image here, which reminds me almost like of Dana International with the feathers and the giant fan. But it's using the sleeves to kind of make a wider, kind of like almost like a blackbird flying away, flying in freedom. And then there's sparks flying, because of course there's sparks flying. Yeah, this will be an emotional ballad. This will just obviously qualify because it's a televote. I kind of like the staging, but I just don't get the relevance to the song. I don't get how it's related to the song. It's good for what it is. I just don't get the relevance. Next up is Serbia and Prince, spelled without an E. Yeah, looking at this, it's a lot of red that is not broken up by anything. Wear a black belt, wear it to separate something. I don't like what he's wearing. It's just too monotonous. Backing dancers, what am I looking at here? I'm looking at some tight black suits. I'm looking at this weird like rope thing, frilly thing. I'm not doing a very good job at describing this. The second picture shows absolutely nothing, just showing a silhouette. There's rope, random pieces of rope that are dangling from the backing performers, dancers. Third image, see, the red blends in with the red. It looks like it's going to be in the staging. If you're having a red staging, do not wear a red outfit. Serbia, just, again, there's nothing here. There's nothing interesting here. It's just, it's there. This is just not going to qualify, and I'm moving on. Final country that we're looking at today is Finland. We have Erika Vikman holding up a microphone as if she has won the Eurovision Song Contest. I don't know if this is going to win or not. It would be great for Finland to host this 70th Eurovision Song Contest. I think Finland would do a great job. Can't really tell a lot about the outfit because it's hidden by light, but we know that it's sort of like this sort of like leather bodice thing. Second image, there's her on the ground. She's kind of doing this sort of like acrobatic thing, and I can't tell where the camera's pointing, but she's sort of upside down singing, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. The third one reveals the giant microphone in the air, so she's clearly going to be holding on to that thing for dear life. I really hope she's strapped in somewhere, like if she has like a safety harness, because that is scary. Kind of a remembrance from the Finnish national final with the giant microphone. I don't know if there's going to be the goop. I don't think there's going to be the goop because that'll be difficult to clean. But yeah, interesting choice. I don't really understand the whole concept of the song apart from just being a dirty song. Maybe it'll come well together, but yeah, there's not too much to reveal and react in these images. They're just kind of general shots of Erika Vikman looking fabulous. So yeah, not much to say on Finland, but that's what it is. And those are my reactions to the photos from the second semifinal of the Eurovision Song Contest 2025. A little bit more succinct compared to last time because, I don't know, I feel like there's not a whole lot of like offensive stuff. Like last semifinal had some like pretty offensive fashion choices. This ranged from absolutely fabulous to kind of like, Going down the list for people who I think have the best costume, definitely Luxembourg. I think Luxembourg is my number one. I think that is absolutely just a fabulous choice. I love the Victorian sort of bodice with all like the lace and stuff. And also just bonus points for having France Gall in the background. I think, yes, genius, absolute perfection. Second place in the semifinal is Emmy. I think Emmy has sort of this nicely put together costume idea that I think will translate well on video. And I just love the references to like the 60s and the rocket. I'm getting that both of my top two entries are sort of nods to historical times, and this is a history podcast. So maybe there's a little bit of bias. Going down the list, third place, I think I'm going to give to Latvia, which is a big shock for me because I still don't like Latvia's song. But I think the high avant-garde fashion choice is just really good for them. And I think that if they can do this well, if they can make this song a mythology, like a story of mythology, then I think this will do better than I thought. And I think Latvia could qualify even with a very repetitive song. So yeah, those are my top three fashions. In terms of staging design, again, I really love Luxembourg's design. Ireland's design is really good. Australia with the giant blender, I'm hoping that will show up well on screen. I kind of like Greece's rock a little bit. I'm kind of warming up to the idea of the rock because it almost reminds me of like a rock on the ocean. I hope there's some kind of like water theme at some point, or either that or a volcano theme. I could take either one. I'm liking Malta's design with the lips and sort of the disco ball microphone. Just not a fan of the legs though and the LED. That's kind of the thing that kind of brings it down for me. Yeah, the rest of the staging, I mean, I like Israel's staircase. That's a nice choice, just not for that song. Kind of like mismatched. I think last time I had a mismatched stage, it was Marco's cape. Marco's outfit in general was mismatched to the song. This staging concept is mismatched to Israel's song because it just doesn't belong there. Apart from that, I mean, the rest of it is kind of just like, they're there. It's not really grabbing my attention. Most disappointed, I'm kind of leaning towards, I don't know, maybe Denmark. Denmark might be my biggest disappointment because I was hoping for more hallucinatory elements instead of just blue on blue. Like, Sissal is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. Sissal looks absolutely fabulous and gorgeous. She is beautiful, especially with like the ruffled things in the beginning, and hopefully the costume reveal will be tight when that happens. But yeah, I'm disappointed. I was hoping for more from Denmark. Worst dressed. I don't know. There's a few individual elements for worst dressed. I mean, I think Lithuania should just go on the bottom there because there's like nothing there. But it's not like instinctively like horrible. It's just, I don't know. I guess I have to put Lithuania as worst dressed just because it's like the most boring thing I've ever seen in my entire in the entire contest. Most avant-garde piece definitely goes to Montenegro. I mean, this is something you would watch at the Met Gala, which, yeah, Met Gala, you think that has fashion? You should look at Eurovision because that has much more interesting fashion. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Have I missed anybody that I haven't really talked a lot about? Let me just go down the list. Yeah, okay, so you have Australia. That's the milkshake man. Half the costume is just himself shirtless, so there's not much to talk about. Montenegro we talked about. Ireland we talked about. Latvia we talked about. Armenia, again, there's not much there. Austria, too much. Greece, again, I wish the dress was a different color. Lithuania is a disappointment. Malta, again, not a fan of the leopard print. It feels cheap. Georgia, again, disappointment going from priest to like weird circus performer. Just no. Denmark, again, looking fabulous, but disappointing in the lack of hallucinations. Hopefully that'll come across on camera. Czechia with the hideous glove, that has to go. Keep the cape, keep it simple. Luxembourg, perfect. Israel, the costume is good. I would just have preferred something a bit more, not necessarily like a warrior-esque thing, but just something that is less Donna International in black, and just something that is more akin to like, I don't know. I don't know what I want. I mean, I want a different staging option because this just doesn't fit with the rest of the song. But yeah, Israel is being what it is. Serbia, again, not expecting very much, blends in the background. Meh. And Erica Vickman looks good. I don't get the hype for Finland that much. I don't know. Just, yeah, I have my clear favorites, and those are the ones that I focus on. So that is my reaction to the photos from semifinal 2. Of course, you are either listening to this on your favorite platform of choice, or you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify. So yeah, this is my very first sort of video episodes. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the video format, if you like it or if you just prefer to keep it to audio. Of course, if you disagree with me, feel free to do so, but please do it gently. I know that some of my opinions are a bit unhinged and you probably disagree with them very thoroughly. You're saying, oh, I really like this song and you hate it. You're a terrible person. I'm just like, yeah, no, there will be some songs that I love that you don't. There will be some songs that you love that I don't. That's just kind of the way it goes. So yes, thank you for tuning in. The Europod jury, hosted by the Building Bridges podcast, is already out by the time this episode comes out. You can either watch that video and see my top 10 results, or wait until Friday when my Big 5 and host country episode comes out to find out what the rest of my results are. I'm probably going to do a third episode once the first rehearsals for the Big 5 and the host country come in. I know there's already second rehearsal footage out on Instagram. I will not be reacting to those because I just don't have the time. I have other things I need to be doing, other things I need to put together. So yeah, I won't be reacting to those on an episode, but I will have my thoughts. And of course, once we finish with the real live performances, we'll have those 2 episodes out after the week of Eurovision. And then we'll be back to Eurovision history. So yeah, you won't have to put up with my thoughts on these songs for very much longer. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.